Hello everyone. We are continuing with our quantitative techniques meant for BCA 5th semester. And now we are in Unit 3, Part 1, some important questions. First one, find the simple interest on rupees 4,500 for 123 days at 5% per annum. So here we are supposed to find out simple interest, SI, that is nothing but principal multiplied by number of years multiplied by interest in decimal. So let me write where SI is simple interest, P is the principal, N is number of years, I is interest rate per annum in decimal. So now we have in this question simple interest on rupees 4,500, which means our principal is 4,500. 123 days, that means N is 123, but we need to convert the days into year. So we'll divide it by 365. And then we have interest rate is given as 5% per annum. So I is 0.05. Now that we have all the values, let us calculate simple interest. SI is equal to 4,500 multiplied by 123 divided by 365 multiplied by 0.05. If we calculate that, we will get rupees 75.82. That will be the result. Let us move on to the next one. Find the simple interest on rupees 20,000. Means here P is 20,000 for 4.5 years. So N is 4.5 and interest rate is given as 9%. So I is 0.09. So our SI, which is P into N into I, will be 20,000 multiplied by 4.5 multiplied by 0.09. If we multiply all these three figures, we get rupees 8,100. That is the result for this question. Let us move on to the next question. Next is find the compound interest on rupees 3,000 for 3 years at 4% per annum. First of all, the final amount, that is A, we'll say final amount after compounding. Then P is principal. Then N is number of conversions. And I is interest rate in decimal for the given conversion period. Then compound interest will be denoted by CI, and compound interest will be calculated as the final amount minus the principal. So now what is amount? Amount is P times 1 plus I to the power of N, and hence compound interest will be A, that is P times 1 plus I to the power of N minus P, that can be simplified as P times 1 plus I to the power of N minus 1, because P is common in both the terms. That will be your compound interest. Now, in this case, they gave you the principal as 3,000. So P is given as 3,000. And 3 years, they say. So number of conversions also will be 3 conversions. So N is 3. Interest rate is given as 4%. So I is 0.04. So therefore, CI will be 3,000 times 1 plus I. So 1 plus 0.04 to the power of 3 minus 1. If we calculate this, we will get rupees 374.59. Let us move on to the next. This is also calculate compound interest. So CI is P times 1 plus I to the power of N minus 1. P is given as rupees 5,000 and N is given as 3 years and I is given as, means here the conversion again it is only 3. Conversion we may do only if it is given in terms of interest per annum, chargeable on quarterly basis or half yearly basis or monthly basis, like that. If they give, then we will be doing a conversion. Otherwise, we'll be taking it as it is. So I is 0.05. Now, our compound interest will be 5,000 times 1 plus 0.05 to the power of 3 minus 1. If we calculate this, we will get rupees 788.13. Let us move on to the next one. Find the principal to earn rupees 150 simple interest in 6 years at 5% per annum. So we know simple interest is P into N into I, which means principal will be SI divided by NI. So here they gave you simple interest as 150 and period is given as 6 years and the rate of interest is given as 5%, so 0.05. So we can substitute it here. SI is 150, N is 6 multiplied by 0.05. So if we calculate, we will get P as rupees 500. That is the result for this question. Let us move on to the next. Find the value of X if 10 is to 40 is 50 is to X. So both the ratios will convert it into fraction, means 10 by 40 is equal to 50 by X, which means by cross multiplication, X will be 50 into 40 divided by 10. So this goes with this 4 times, we get 200 as the result. Let us move on to the next. Find the fourth proportion of 2:8:3. So fourth proportion means we need to find out 2:8 is to 3:X, which means that X will be our fourth proportion. And we know product of extremes is equal to product of means. So therefore, we will multiply these two extremes and these two means. It implies that 2 times X equal to 8 into 3. And that means X is 8 into 3 divided by 2. This goes with this 4 times. We get the result as 12. Let us move on to the next one. Write the duplicate ratio. Duplicate ratio is obtained by squaring both the terms. Hence, duplicate ratio of √2 is to √5 is equal to √2 the square is to √5 the square, and that will be 2 is to 5. That is the result. Let us move on to the next one. Find the mean proportional to 21 and 84. Mean proportional of 21,84 is the same as geometric mean of 21,84. So that is equal to root of 21 multiplied by 84. Now we can rewrite this 21 as 3 into 7. 84, let us factorize it. 2 times 42, 2 times 21, 3 times 7. So we can write 84 as 2 square into 3 into 7. So this is nothing but 2 square into 3 square into 7 square. Now everywhere square is there and square root is there. So this is nothing but 2 into 3 into 7. So if we multiply this, we will get the result as 42. So that is the mean proportional of 21 and 84. Let us move on to the next one. There were 2016 people at a picnic. This was 8% more than the number expected. How many people were expected? Means from the question we can say 2016 is 8% more than the expected number. So let's say let X equal to number of people who are expected, number of people expected. So they say 216 is 8% more than the number expected, means X times 8% more. So I can multiply it with 1.08, which means our X is 216 divided by 1.08, which will give us 200. So that is the result. 200 people were expected in that picnic. Let us move on to the next. Calculate the amount and interest on ₹100 for 20 years, allowing compound interest at 5% per annum. We know the amount can be calculated by using the formula P times 1 plus I to the power of n on compounding basis. Here the principal is given as 100, interest rate is given as 5%, period is given as 20. So if we calculate this, we get ₹265.33. This is the amount. Therefore, compound interest is A minus P, which is 265.33 minus 100. And if I calculate that, we will get 165.33. That is the result. Let us move on to the next. Question says, if 2x plus 3y is to 2x plus 5y is 3 is to 4, find x is to y. So ratios can be written in terms of fraction as 2x plus 3y by 2x plus 5y is 3 by 4. Cross multiplying, we get 4 times 2x plus 3y is 3 times 2x plus 5y. Again, multiplying inside the brackets, we get 8x plus 12y equal to 6x plus 15y. Bring all x to the x terms to the left-hand side. So we get 8x minus 6x. And take this y terms to the right-hand side. we get this, which means 2x is equal to 3y. Now bring that y to the left-hand side, take the 2 to the right-hand side, we get x by y equal to 3 by 2, which indicates that x is to y is 3 is to 2. That is the result for this question. Let us move on to the next. If a simple interest on a certain sum is rupees 300 for 2 years at 6% per annum, find the sum. We know simple interest is nothing but P into N into I. Simple interest is given as 300. We have to find the principal. N is given as 2 and interest rate is given as 0.06, which means our P will be 300 divided by 2 and divided by 0.06. If we calculate that, we will get rupees 2,500. Let us move on to the next one. Which of the following figures represent females, mothers, and doctors? See, if mothers means they have to be females. Means mothers is a subset of females. Doctors, females, mothers, both can be doctors. That means the right option here will be, I will say this, what do you call? Let me use some other color. Yeah. So now, females, mothers, I will write here. And then this is females, and this will be doctors. Means mothers can also be doctors, females can also be doctors. So the right option will be option D. Now let us move on to the next one. Find the difference between simple interest and compound interest on rupees 3,000 in 3 years at 4% per annum. So let us calculate compound interest minus simple interest. And compound interest is P times 1 plus I to the power of N minus 1. Simple interest is P into N into I, which means I can take P outside in both minus N into I. On rupees 3,000, which means our principal is 3,000. 1 plus interest rate is given as 4%, so 0.04 to the power of N. N is 3 years here, minus 1, minus N, again 3 into I, which is 0.04. So if we calculate this, first we will be calculating all this together inside the brackets and then finally multiply with 3,000, we will get the difference as rupees 14.592. That is the result for this. Let us move on to the next. Find the compound interest on rupees 20,000 at 6% per annum for 4 years. What is the simple interest for the same amount? First, let us calculate compound interest. Compound interest is P times 1 plus I to the power of N minus 1. So here P is 20,000 times 1 plus I is 0.06 to the power of 4. Period is given as 4 years minus 1. If we calculate this, we will get rupees 5,249.54. Now, simple interest will be P into N into I. P is 20,000 times N is 4 years and I is 0.06. If we multiply all this and calculate, we will get the simple interest as rupees 4,800. That will be the solution for this question. Let us move on to the next. A sum of money amounts to rupees 855 in 3.5 years at 4% per annum simple interest. Find the sum. Means some principal is getting amounted to 855, which means this 855 is your final amount in 3.5 years, and they say at 4% per annum. Now, in simple interest, we have A minus P is equal to SI, which means our A minus SI will be your, or rather I will rewrite it. A minus P means A is equal to P plus SI. And SI, we know it is P into N into I. So we can rewrite A as P times 1 plus Ni, or P is A divided by 1 plus Ni. Now A is known to be 855 and 1 plus N is known to be 3.5, 3.5 years they give, and interest rate is known to be 4%, so 0.04. Now, if we calculate this, we will get rupees 750. That is the solution for this particular problem. Let us move on to the next. Calculate the simple interest and the amount on rupees 7,500 from 20th January 2013 to 10th April 2013 at 8% per annum. First, let us calculate the number of days. In January, we have 31 days, but already it is getting started from 20th, which means I should subtract 20. Then plus February, it is a non-leap year, so February will have 28 days. Then March will have 31 days, plus April to 10th April. So since here I considered the 20th of January, here I won't consider, I'll consider 9 days in April. So that will become 11 plus 28 plus 31 plus 9. So this will be 40, 40 plus 28, 68, 68 plus 11, we get 79 days. Now, we have to calculate simple interest, and that is P into N into I. Principal is given in the question as 7,500. N is the period. Just now we calculated number of days. We have to convert that into year. So 79 by 365 into I. That is given as 8%. So 0.08. If we multiply these three and calculate, we will get the simple interest as rupees 129.86. Now we need to calculate the amount A, which is nothing but principal plus simple interest, and that will be 7,500 plus 129.86. That will be rupees 7,629.86. So that is the solution for this particular problem. Let us move on to the next. The banker's gain on a bill due in 4 months discounted at 15% is 720. Means banker's gain is given as 720. Due in 4 months, which means the period is given as 4 months. I'll have to convert it into year. So 4 by 12 year, which is nothing but 1/3 of a year. Okay. Then discounted at 15%. So which means our I is given as 0.15. So we need to find out the true discount, banker's discount, and the face value of the bill. So banker's gain is banker's discount minus true discount. Banker's discount is A into N into I minus true discount is A into N into I divided by 1 plus Ni. Here our A is face value of the bill. N is the time period in years. I is rate of interest per annum. That's all, right? Now we can modify that banker's gain formula as ANI is common. We can take it outside. We get 1 by minus of 1 by 1 plus NI. That will give you ANI times. Let us take LCM as 1 plus NI. So here you will get 1 plus NI minus 1. This 1 and 1 gets cancelled. Ultimately, your banker's gain will be ANI into NI, which means ANI the square divided by 1 plus Ni. So first let us calculate Ni. Our N into I will be, N is 1 by 3 and our I is 0.15, which means Ni will be 0.05. That is our Ni. Then in that case, Ni the whole square will be 0.0025 because that is also required here. So this means our banker's gain, which is 720, will be A times Ni square, which means 0.0025 divided by 1 plus 0.05. So our A will be 720 times cross multiplying, we get 1.05 and then divide it by 0.0025. So we will get the A value as rupees 302400. One is that. Now we have to calculate banker's discount, which is A into N into I. A is 302400 times Ni, we already have that 0.05. So if we calculate that, we get the banker's discount as 15,120. Then true discount is ANI divided by 1 plus NI. ANI just now we calculated 15,120 divided by 1 plus 0.05. If we calculate that, we will get rupees 14,400. So that's all these things they asked. Face value of the money is nothing but your A value. BD we calculated, banker's discount 15,120, and then true discount also we calculated. So that is the solution for this particular problem.